Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am Yoshi Lan, and I'm going to be talking about layers of spiritual dimensionality. So, a lot of people think about spirituality as something that you just do, and there's really no way to gauge your spirituality. Well, I challenge those people to take a look at their layers of spiritual dimensionality. Spiritual dimensionality is something that I started noticing more as I worked with more spiritual people. And depending on where they are in their spiritual journey, there's different levels of it. So, just like how there's very old and very outdated ways of viewing the world, such as flat earth, there's also very old and outdated ways of spiritualism. Okay, so let's talk about the holy versus unholy, the war between good and evil. This is very old, flat dimensional spiritual views of how things work. Things are not black and white. But in that type of tradition, back in those days, that's how they saw things. They saw things as black and white. And a lot of spiritual people think that they see in color or that they see in grays and stuff like that. And maybe they do. If you see in grays, black, white, and gray, then you're most likely two LSD is what I call it. So that's two layers of spiritual dimensionality. So you're graduating from good versus evil, angels versus demons type of thing into something that's more good versus bad. Okay, so there's ethics involved, and you think about things in a more sophisticated level of, it's not just one person's evil, not one person is good. One person is doing things so, that they think is good, and then the other person who thinks they're doing something good is actually not doing something good. So it becomes more conflict rather than you're born either good or you're born evil. Okay, so there's more flexibility, and that's why it's black, white, and gray. Now, when you move into the next level, 3 LSD is what I call it, you also work with energy more. You see and understand energy on a different level, and there's also different levels of energy work. A lot of people aren't aware of this, I've noticed. There's different levels of energy work, as well as there's different types of energy work. The two major branches being yin and yang style energy work. When you get to 3 LSD type thinking, you start moving out of the good and bad, and you get into beneficent and maleficent. Okay? Is something that the person is doing helpful? Is it something that can create more good in the world? Versus the other side, is it something that can cause more harm? Is it dangerous? That kind of thing. Beneficence, maleficence, or benevolence and malevolence. It's people who want to do good, people who want to do bad. Same thing in the spiritual world. That's when you first start getting color. You don't quite get color yet until you go into 4 and 5 LSD. That's when you start getting more colors and more vividness, because then you start having more perspective. So, which level of spirituality are you? Are you still somebody who still sees things as good and evil? Because if you are, then I encourage you to reconsider, because things are not good and evil. Things are not black and white. This video is not black and white. And also, one thing I notice is, even with a lot of spiritual people nowadays, there's still this whole love and light and darkness thing. Light and darkness doesn't make any sense. What is light and darkness in spiritualism? Everything is energy. And if you understand what energy is, it's a form of light. So regardless of low vibrational or high vibrational energy, it's all light. So what does it mean to stand in your light? That kind of stuff. Shine your light. Those people who are doing plenty of really fucked up things in the world are shining their light. Let me tell you that much. They are definitely shining something. So, light and dark. What is it? You understand it better as you move up. When you increase your spiritual growth, as you go deeper in your inner healing work, your understanding of energy in the universe will also become much more sophisticated. It'll become more multidimensional as opposed to flat. A lot of people back in the day, everything was just flat. You're good, you're evil, we're gonna burn your ass. Okay? That's not how things work nowadays, thank goodness. But there's still a lot more to go because a lot of spiritual people are still in the black, gray, and white stage. But they think they're actually 3, 4, or 5 LSD. And I think part of the reason is because people don't really view or understand spirituality in the sense of a scientific endeavor. I was very scientific and very rational, very logical before I started my spiritual journey. And so everything that I do is to investigate everything. And I've noticed as I go through each of the different layers, I take a different look at everything because your perspective changes. So this is also something for you to consider. Are you using language that sounds 2 LSD or 3 LSD or even 4 LSD, but you're really consciously at a lower level? Okay, this has nothing to do with you're inferior than other people or you're more superior than other people because you have more LSD. It just means that your understanding as well as your spiritual abilities will be more evolved. That's it. People are in different stages in their life. So this is something that I encourage everyone to take a look at. Are they still very judgmental? Okay, because when you are in 1 LSD, that's very judgment-based stuff. Very judgment-based stuff. When you move into 2 LSD, it's more criticism, more critical. Okay, if you really want to embody compassion and understanding and all this wonderful stuff in the spiritual world that people talk about, then it's necessary in order for you to increase your layers of spiritual dimensionality. If you don't increase your layers of spiritual dimensionality, it's all lip service. You don't really understand what you're saying and you don't really feel what you're saying. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this is something new to you because this is something that I made up. So layers of spiritual dimensionality, it's something that you'll notice more the more aware you are of how people talk. People think like all magic is evil or black magic or whatever, but there's really no such thing as everything is one thing. It's just misunderstanding this, misunderstanding that, or misconception, depending on where you are. All right. So I'll see you guys around. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to support me, please subscribe to my channel and also give my video a like and share it with other people. All right. See ya.